everybody, it's Kumasi and I'm excited to talk with you guys about my trip to the city of Kumasi. It was amazing to finally be there after years of hearing about it, meeting people from there, and I was just struck by how comfortable I felt there. You know, like just talking to people, playing the game in front of the Kente Weaving Center. It just felt like I could have been in my hometown. I could have been anywhere. So I loved that about it. It was really good for me to actually see where Kente is made and to learn the meaning behind it. You know, all the time we see like Kente cloth, people selling it everywhere, and you're like, okay, that's Kente cloth, it's African, we know that. But I didn't realize the meaning behind the different weaves for the Kente, and how really Kente was only worn for special occasions by kings and the Queen Mother and nobility in Ghanaian tradition. And so just learning it gave me a new level of respect for, one, the art, because y'all saw me trying to make some Kente, and we're gonna leave it to the professionals, but also just more respect for what it meant as a part of that culture. So I loved experiencing that, and I loved putting it on, especially when I got ready to go to my traditional naming ceremony. Y'all, I was not ready for the ceremony. I don't know what I thought it would be. I guess I just thought, okay, it's something to do on this tour of Kumasi, let's just go. But when I walked in there and I saw the elders of that village just sitting around there, I don't know what it was. It just felt like, almost like, you know, like when you come to your grandparents' house and you just feel like, oh, I'm here. You know what I mean? You feel like there's love there. And that's what I felt. And I had never, you know, I don't know them. They don't know me. But I felt like I was coming home. And it was just a great experience. I kind of knew a little bit about the naming and how it would go. I knew it was based on the day of the week that you were born. I was born on a Wednesday, so that's where Akua came from. But I had no idea about Asantewa, that I would be named that, and it means warrior, it means courageous, and I was proud that that was the name chosen for me. And something about when the Queen Mother was standing there and she had us say it, repeat after her, saying the name. I don't know what it was about that moment, but I started to feel so emotional. It's just something about speaking the name and having her say it and me repeat it. It was like almost like she was giving me that name and everything that came along with it. And that's when I started to get kind of emotional. I know on the video, you guys saw me right before we took the drinks and I was kind of like wiping my tears, and I can't even tell you why. It was just something about being there, about getting that name. It was like I finally was getting something that I didn't even know was missing, you know? Like a reconnection, a sense of belonging, a sense of connection, and it was overwhelming. And so people have been commented that they are crying while watching the video. And I get that. It's because we have this disconnection and we don't even realize it. It's like I've gone all these years just thinking everything was fine. Of course, longing and wanting to know more about my roots and where my family, my ancestors come from, but to actually be there and to be a part of that sense of tradition was so emotional. It really was. And I just can't even imagine if I knew like where my ancestors were really from. Like they could be from Ghana, I'm not sure. But, you know, just even having that connection to Africa in a broader sense felt so good to me, and I didn't even know I needed that, and to think we just have been living without that for so long. It was beautiful, and I think it was compounded because earlier in the trip I actually went to Cape Coast, where they have the slave castles, and to see that, to see what my ancestors experienced before coming to the United States, being enslaved in the United States. You just have this remarkable feeling that, you know, I'm a descendant of people who were so strong and so resilient. And you just see everything in a different way, you know? And there is a sense of sadness when you're looking at that. And then there's also a sense of pride, you know, that these people had such strength, that they are survivors, and that I am here because of them. And now to be able to return and see that and to be a part of this culture and these experiences, oh, it really was just, it was beautiful. And in a way, I feel like I'm kind of just scratching the surface, you know? I really only spent a week in Africa, 1 day in Kumasi, and there is so much more culture to be experienced. There's so much more of my history that I've yet to learn. And I would say, if anything, it just encouraged me to want to experience more, to want to learn more, to want to reconnect even more. And so I think that's what I'm so grateful about for this experience, because it's just something you can't get anywhere else. And I just think everybody should have that experience. So I don't know why, it's just so beautiful. It's really beautiful. And so I hope that you enjoyed watching the video. I hope that it inspired you, when we finally can, to book that ticket and take a trip to wherever home is for you. If it's the motherland, book the ticket. I promise you, it's so worth it. When I came back from Ghana, I put my vacation request in for like a whole year in advance. I know my manager was like, what is wrong with her? But I was already like, I'm going back. And especially around the holiday, it was so much fun. Let me tell y'all. We had the cultural experiences. I learned a lot, but I also had a really good time. My friend and I, we were out just honestly partying and having a good time and being out at the beach and in the city. It was wonderful just to be in Africa. Everybody is Black. And I just have never experienced that, and I loved it, and I felt comfortable, and I felt welcomed and loved, and it was just everything I needed. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you have enjoyed the other videos that I've done sharing my experience, and I hope that once we are all free and able to travel again, that we can all go back to the motherland. See you later.